have taken a stand. We are not going to fight a battle with Russia. That is a Western creation. This is a creation of the West. We are abstaining. We did not cause this war, Sean. We did not cause this war, and we will look out for ourselves. Because don't you for a moment think that we have forgotten history, Sean. I'd like to remind you that the UK and the US moved a joint resolution in the UN Security Council deploring the use of force by India in Goa, Daman and Diu when we were liberating Goa, and it was the USSR at that time that vetoed it. And let me also tell you, I don't forget 1971. The US tried to actively harm my country in 1971, where after Pakistan launched Operation Chengiz Khan against India. It was the US that rallied with Pakistan and dispatched a 10-ship naval task force, the US task force, from the 7th Fleet of the South Vietnam into the Bay of Bengal, and we still won in Bangladesh. So please, we cannot trust the Americans. We should never completely trust the Americans. Now for the British, because Sean, you're British. I think it's a great country. I love Great Britain. But my question here is very simple. We cannot forget how in 1971, the UK dispatched its aircraft carrier, HMS Eagle, into the Arabian Sea to bolster Pakistan and then retreated after the Russian fleet was spotted. So no, I do not forget my country's history. And you tried to pass resolutions against us in 1971 when the people of Bangladesh were being plundered and raped and murdered. At that point of time, when we were liberating Pakistan, you tried to pass a resolution against us. And while UK and France abstained, Russia vetoed it. So I never forget my country's history. And I truly believe that a great country like India will look out for itself. And I'm completely a believer in the recalibration of the world order. And while I condemn the casualties in Ukraine, I think we are doing a damn good thing, and I'm proud of my country for standing up for itself. And that's my response to you, because that is our position. So please don't tell me my country's not taken a position. It has taken a position. I now like to go back to Abdul. I have the line back with him. Abdul, the issue is about the new world order, please. Why should the world follow a global order post-45, where 77% of the world's population, powerful countries in Asia, Eurasia, Africa combined, have to align and rally behind the terms and conditions set by the victors of the Second World War?
Okay, Arnab, I do disagree with that, because the world order proposed after the Second World War was one fundamentally of sovereign choice, where nations could make up their own minds which rules they follow, which clubs they join. But there was a set of agreements around some rules around not using violent force to settle disputes on the world stage. And I think on the question of the future of world order, you only have to look to the historic vote in the UN General Assembly yesterday, which overwhelmingly a number of countries voted to condemn Russia's barbaric use of force.
Mr. Baraka, do you want to respond? Please go on. You want to respond to Sean?
Only
yes, clearly.
Just very briefly, only to his last comment. This notion that the Western powers somehow were committed to something called the international order that place direct interventions, military interventions, someplace in the rear is absolute nonsense. The Western powers have used since 1945 nothing but sheer state violence to attempt to try to maintain their global hegemony. The crimes are enormous, and we don't need to repeat them here. So let's be at least honest as we try to unpackage this current situation with Ukraine. This notion of the Western powers being the powers upholding democracy and human rights is an absolute insult to our collective intelligence.
The issue is about the new world order, please. Your response.
You know, I'm from the Middle East.
The issue is about the new world order, please. Your response.
You know, I'm from the Middle East. I would like to say something. You know, they are saying that, Ukraine invasion by Russia is unlawful. It is not according to the international law. Let me say something. For the last 20 or 30 years, we have in the Middle East more than 10 10 invasions of our countries by the American, by the West. You know, the invasion of Iraq, was it according to the international law? The invasion of Syria, for 10 years now, people, more than 500,000 were killed. Was it according to the international law? The bombing of Libya and dismembering it, was it by the West, by the NATO? Was it according to the international law? You know, we are fed up of listening to these kind of things. International law, international law. What about Palestine? Was dismembering of Palestine, kicking out my people, is according to the international law? You know, I'm really surprised. Afghanistan, the 20 years of war by the American intervention to turn it to a paradise, was it also according to international law? Yeah, I'm really surprised. Look, we have to raise our voice. Now they are preparing to actually recruiting hardly very, very radical Muslims to fight on Ukrainian against the Soviet so-called invasion. So President Putin was absolutely correct when he said that. I know, I'm a journalist, I am an editor, I am following that. They are trying to repeat the same experience in Afghanistan by Mujahideen to actually transfer it to Ukraine now. Who will be benefited from this anarchy? Who will be benefited from this terrorism? Europe has, stability for the last 80 years since the World War II. What happened now? There is a provocation to the Russia.